I wish
Okay.
that part was live. That would have been great.
Now we are live. Duh. This is only the third time I've done this. Forgive me.
Hey, it's forgiven. It's understood. I've been there. I still do it sometimes. So we just gotta laugh about it, you know.
Yes. Well, I have some questions that I wrote down, and if we stray from the questions, that's okay.
Okay,
Can you introduce yourself, please?
I can.
Why not? You don't remember who you are?
I said I can, but I was trying to be funny. I'm Alex, Fatman the Flipper, uh, also known as your friendly neighborhood Fat Man, soon to be that man, the Flipper, and yeah, I'm just another guy, Cuban American, young, both in heart, spirit, and also physically, I guess, still young. Right? I'm 35. Um, I love life. Life is great. Life is a beautiful thing to live, and I live it to the fullest every single day. That's
That
me.
is wonderful. Hello, KLBR60. Blessings to you too.
Blessings, blessings. Now, so you've done this. This is your third time doing this, right?
Yes.
You want me to give you some, like, not tips, but like I can show you a few things
Okay.
that you might not know, some features that StreamYard has. So the way the format is fine. I'm just saying if you like it that way, that's fine. But you could always change the way everything looks. So like if you don't like how we're next to each other like this, and you want to make it like little, just regular squares right underneath the screen in front of you,
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, you could change that. You can also like put yourself or put others. Yeah, like you see.
Like that.
So you could do all that. And then you can also do stuff like share your screen and things like that. So, it's totally up to you as the host is how you wanna
Okay.
put that, you know. And also the yeah, you already know how to put the live comments up. And I think you could also do your own comments. So you could have like, so if you want to put like your guests link or give a call to action, like to ask people to subscribe or something like that, you
Uh
can have a
huh.
comment that you custom make, and then you can just click on it and it'll pop up on the screen, and it's on the sidebar. There's a bunch of cool stuff there that you can play with. So whenever you get time, play with that stuff and learn about it because it's pretty cool. Streamyard is pretty cool. This is Streamyard,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, because normally the little duck guy is right there. There's like a little duck right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to play with that because I don't know how to do all that yet. Um,
Denise says, Denise, you look beautiful.
yes, I saw that. Hello, Pamela Drain.
Hey Denise. Hey Pamela.
I know Denise Kane's from the morning show that Norgus R does.
Yeah, my mom still listens in on, like, she'll put that on in the mornings whenever it's on. She listens in on that. She doesn't comment much anymore, but yeah. Yeah, we should practice. Practice makes perfect. You can't stop practicing. Practicing is a form of putting your thoughts into action and
Yes.
making it better. So yeah, practice is always good. I've been doing lives for a little while now, so I still make mistakes. Like, what y'all didn't see, if you don't mind, I'm gonna say it. What y'all didn't see is for like a couple minutes, maybe like a minute, 2 minutes. I noticed that it didn't say live on the top. It said scheduled. So I was like, "Are we live?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's saying hi to y'all. And she's talking to y'all. And I was like, "Are you sure?" And we finally realized that we weren't live. But yeah, I still do that all the time.
I'm going to go ahead and start to interview.
All right.
Um,
Be careful what you ask because you just might get it.
um, what has been your experience in the past and now with weight loss and weight gain?
All
Like,
right. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
have you lost weight in the past? Have you gained weight in the past?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've like my whole life, I guess when I was little, I wasn't really little. And it wasn't that I was really a chubby kid or anything like that. I was just big bodied. Like I was bigger than everybody else. I was always a foot taller than everybody else. I just grew really fast. I guess I had a growth spurt really young. So, I've always been the bigger kid or whatever. Um but I did have, a little excess, heaviness to me. But to me, it was more of the mental part where, I felt like I was bigger than what I really was. So yeah, I was bigger, but because of how kids treated me and how they reacted to me and stuff like that, I started judging myself. So, I always was self conscious when it came to like going to the pool or the beach and keeping my shirt on and stuff like that. Um,
Oh,
yeah, there was a time when I was like that when I was little, and it was because I was very self conscious. I really thought of myself as bigger than what I really was. So, but yeah, if you look at pictures of me as a kid, there were moments where I was, just regular looking, like I look like a regular kid. And then there was other pictures you could find of me where I'm like a little, I definitely look a little chunkier. And so I never really, and around teenage years is when I kind of, I was very active. I played a lot of sports, and I guess everybody caught up to me. So all the other kids started getting bigger, and kept getting bigger. But we were all getting, like I just looked more like I looked more slim. I looked more slim. I was taller. I was getting taller, and things like that. So I never really tried to lose weight, except for one time in my life. I remember my mom put me on Atkins because she was doing Atkins, and I was
oh,
young. I was really young, but I didn't mind it because it was like I ate bacon and eggs in the morning, and that was great. And it wasn't that bad. But we did that for a little while, but at the end of the day, I was a kid, and I'm growing, so whatever. But around 18 years old, it was around 18 years old that I started doing because I became a drug addict from the moment I used drugs at 12 years old. Like when I used drugs for the first time, like that was it. Like I couldn't stop.
that's what I keep
So
telling my children. Don't try it because you never know. You get
yeah,
addicted immediately.
yeah, and the thing is that even when you do, well, at least for me, when I was originally doing it, it wasn't something I was conscious of. I wasn't conscious of the fact that I just wanted to get high for X, Y, and Z reasons. I thought I was doing it because I liked it and because my friends were doing it, right?
Uh-huh.
So whatever, I was doing drugs and just in that whole lifestyle of, following the wrong groups of kids and doing things I probably shouldn't be doing, getting in trouble a lot. So I went from being a decent kid to, a kid that, you would say, oh, he's gonna have a bright future. I went from that to being a kid that you kind of questioned on my future. You were like, I don't know about that kid. I became basically the kid that the parents warned their other kids about. And it was shocking for my family or whatever, but that's another story. But so when I was around 17, 18 years old, I started experimenting with stronger drugs, and I started doing. I was from Miami, and cocaine was a serious, was everywhere, and everybody did it. It was like something that it was normal almost, at least with the people that I hung around with. I never did that stuff. I used to always judge those people. I used to always say, "Man, these people are crackheads." And I'm an addict, but I think I'm better than them, right? But once I started
Wow.
doing yeah, once I started doing that stuff, it was like, woo! It was like, imagine, you consume yourself with filling yourself up with drugs and all this stuff, and that lifestyle, being on the streets, and the trouble and the adrenaline that you get from all the things you do, and all that, and you finally say, you know what, why not? I'm gonna do it once. It's not a big deal. And you do this drug that you said you'd never do because you yourself thought it was for low lives, you know and it was like my mind exploded. So I became now a cokehead, is what we called them. What they called me. I was a cokehead, and I started just doing a lot of cocaine. And the thing is, I had an unlimited supply, pretty much, of it. So I wasn't doing like the average amount of what average cokeheads do. I was doing excessive amounts of
Wow.
cocaine, and that made me stop eating. I didn't sleep. I would go literally a month with no sleep whatsoever, to
So
where
you were constantly high.
I was constantly high, constantly just on this, this up. It was constantly trying to stay up, 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 up. I worked during the day, so I had a physical manual labor job, and then at night it was like I gotta go hook up with my friends. I gotta go do this. We gotta stay awake. And it was months. I know for a fact I've gone at least 30 days with no sleep whatsoever. And how I lived, I don't know. I definitely went crazy because of it. But I know that when I would finally sleep, when I would finally like take a break, I would sleep for 3, 4, 5 days, like non, like it would be just sleep through 3 days, and then I wake up like not knowing what day it is and stuff. But because of that, I lost a severe amount of weight. I became pretty much like a stick figure. I was skin and bones. I was skin and bones when I was around 19, 20 years old. And at 20, right around 2021 is when I was at my worst, and I was really skinny. Um, and because I just didn't eat and the partying and all the craziness. So when it comes to weight loss and weight gain, the first better half of my life, it was because of drugs and alcohol. Of anything, that got me, to physically lose weight. Um,
So in a sense, you were anorexic due to the drugs.
yeah, you could say. I mean, I wasn't anorexic. I wasn't anorexic. Well, what is the definition of anorexia?
Someone who doesn't eat. I mean, for anorexics, they constantly think, they look in the mirror and they think they're fat, so they don't eat.
Yeah.
And a
So
lot of times they will force themselves to throw up. What I meant by the anorexic part was the fact that you got so skinny. My
yeah,
daughter, at the age, let's see, 21, she right after her pregnancy, she had been with a guy and she was supposed to get married, and he raped her. And then she ended up pregnant, and he walked. He didn't want to marry her. And after the pregnancy, she just she wore big clothes, so we didn't know. And she got down to 112. And she finally admitted that she had a problem, that she wasn't eating. And we didn't know. We didn't realize, because we would see her eat meals, but she wasn't eating. And we were like, oh my gosh. But then she also became bulimic, where she would eat and eat and eat and eat. And I can't give you the exact definitions of them because I don't know how to explain it. But she ended up with both.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess in the sense that I was extremely skinny and I wasn't eating. I mean, yeah, I ate, right? I had to eat. I mean, you would literally die if you went, I don't know how much time. I know you can go a long time without eating, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I would eat, but it would always be forceful. And it wasn't because I thought myself to be big or anything like that. I honestly lost so much weight so fast that I didn't realize how
Wow.
much weight I lost until it was my sister's birthday. and she was a teenager. I believe she was turning like 13. Okay, she's 6 years younger than me, so she no, she's 3 years younger than me. My little brother 6 years. She's 3 years younger than me, so she was probably about 15, 16 years old when we go see her at. They were throwing a birthday party for her, and as I'm walking towards them, towards the family and friends and everybody, I hear her scream, "Oh man, he's skinny!" And that was the first time that I realized I was skinny. That that's how like. And when she said skinny, because when my younger teenage years before the cocaine habit, I used to lift a lot of weights. I played football. I played basketball. I was very athletic, and I was strong. I was very strong. I wasn't fat whatsoever. I wasn't overweight as far as because of my fat.
You,
It was
you were
I was
built.
overweight because of my muscles. I was very strong. So for me to have, if anything, I lost a lot of muscle. I lost a lot of everything. So anyway, when it came to food, I always see what he's saying. I was dealing with a form of bulimia. Instead of throwing up the drugs, was forcing him to purge calories or avoid eating. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's basically what it was. I wouldn't eat, and when I did, I would eat, but I wouldn't eat healthy, right? Like it's not like I had a regular eating habit. I had a very irregular eating habit. All right, man. You look good in that picture, bro. I want to have abs like that. I want to have abs like that. At least one ab. I just want to have one ab, like one strong, defined ab. But
You
yeah.
said
So
that you said that you lost the weight fast. How because of the drugs? How fast would you say the weight came off at that time with the drugs?
the thing is that I never weighed myself. I never, when I was a teenager, I think the most I weighed was around 215 pounds, 225 I think it was. And that was when I was in high school and I was lifting weights. I was bench pressing well over 300 pounds in high school. I was a very strong guy. So the majority of that was muscle, but also I'm very tall. I'm 6'4".
Yeah, I was
So
gonna ask that.
yeah, I'm 6'4", and I think I'm lying. I think I weighed around 250. I weighed around 250. Let's say I can't remember, but I just know that I was a healthy teenager for the most part, right?
Uh-huh.
And once I started, kind of forgetting about school and just really hanging out with the really wrong people and always being on the streets and doing those kind of drugs, I just started losing it all. I lost everything. I stopped working out. I stopped everything.
So
Um,
you lost muscle as well.
well, yeah, the majority of my weight loss was muscle at that time. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So
because
did
I
you?
wasn't like overweight again. Like I wasn't chunky. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't I definitely wasn't how I am now. Like definitely wasn't as big as I am now. Um, but long story short, about a little over 5 years ago, I had found myself weighing between 450 and 500 pounds. Um, and I was on heroin. I was on the streets. I was homeless. And I went to a recovery group. And inside that recovery group, where I chose to change my life around, um, and I started working on myself. They gave me the opportunity to work out. They gave me the opportunity to eat better. I went from eating a lot all day long and eating out. Like I would spend probably around $50 to $100 a day on fast food. And it was because I ate so much, in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? I kind of exaggerated there. $100 is a lot on fast food. Let's say about $50 a day on fast food, which is still a lot of money.
Do
But yeah,
you said that you were no longer getting high at this time when you started gaining weight and eating all the fast food. Is that what you said?
No, no, no,
No,
no.
you were
I was
still.
so before. I'm sorry. Yeah, before I went to the recovery group, when I had weighed 450 to 500 pounds around there, because the last time I remembered weighing myself, I was at 450. But I know I had gained more weight since then. The thing with the drug I was using, instead of stopping my appetite, it gave me more appetite. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, especially the prescription pills that I was using for me. A lot of people didn't go through this, but for me, it was like it was heaven to eat while you were intoxicated, basically, you know? So I was just eating more. In other words, it did not stop my appetite whatsoever. And
So
it, and
Sam, would that be a form of bulimia? Sorry, Alex. Sam
no,
knows a little bit more about that, so I was just curious if that would be considered a bulimia, a form of bulimia, unless he left the chat. He may have.
I mean, I don't know. I always thought of, from my understanding, bulimia is, 'cause I knew a few people who suffered from it, who like literally suffer from it. Is, they're purging every single, because they see
Yeah,
themselves fat when they're probably not, and
right.
they just do, they just purge to, because they think that not eating, or they can eat, but they have to get it out of them because they don't want it
Yeah.
to, you know.
Well, I
But
know that closet eaters they will hide themselves and they will eat and they will eat and they will eat and they don't eat in front of others necessarily a whole bunch, but when they're alone, that's when they eat a lot. When you were eating a lot of fast food, did you do it in front of others, or did you keep it to yourself that you were doing that?
yeah, I definitely, when I would eat excessively, I would definitely be by myself the majority of the time. At that point in my life, I was by myself the majority of the time. I had
Okay.
already burned so many bridges, closed so many doors. I was on the brink of being completely alone.
Oh
I
my.
was on the brink of having everyone that knew me completely close doors on me. There was
Do
only a
you
handful of people in my life that actually associated with me or put up with me. Better said.
do you think that that may have the fact that you were almost completely alone? Do you think that that may also have contributed to the amount you were eating?
Yeah, definitely, because to me, the number one thing that causes addiction, like severe like real addiction, is definitely loneliness. Loneliness is, and there's been like studies and stuff like that have proven it in a way. Um, but to me, it's definitely loneliness. So yeah, being alone only uh, helped the whole entire, just everything that had to do with my overconsumption, my gluttony. My gluttony with drugs, my gluttony with just everything in my life was super gluttonous. Like food, everything, anything that brought me some sort of physical, mental, emotional joy, I did to the excess. Like
Wow.
if it was somebody jumping off of an airplane with a parachute, like I would have had to jump off of that airplane with a parachute and not pull the parachute until I'm like this close from the ground. Like for me to truly enjoy it because I was so excessive with everything.
Oh
I,
my.
everything in life was exaggerated. At that time I was someone else. Everything was exaggerated in the sense that no matter what it was, if it was just a small little thing, it looked huge to me. You know. Um. So yeah. Because, and it's not because of drugs. It's because I never really understood how to deal with myself. I never accepted myself. It all started somewhere, and it kind of just got worse and worse. and it really did start when I was little. Even though I wasn't how could I say it? Even though I wasn't like a like a foodie when I was little, I was actually picky. When I was a little kid, I was really picky about the food that I would eat. Um, but it's more. It was more like I just didn't accept myself as a kid. You know, the reason everything happened was because of me not accepting myself as a kid. And it's not saying I'm guilty. I'm just taking responsibility for the actions that I chose to take in my life. So being conscious of that now, I look back and I'm like, wow. So then you could ask me, right? Well, then how is it that because when I went to that recovery group a little over 5 years ago, there was a time where I lost a massive amount of weight. I lost over 130 pounds. It was probably around 150, 160, but I had stopped counting because I had moved to New York. So the story is like this: I go to the recovery group. It turns out that they have an Olympic event. This Olympic event is where all the different recovery groups across the country and across Mexico would meet, and every group represents themselves, or every group represents a zone. So we were part of a zone, and that zone represented the United States. So we flew to Mexico, and we were part of this Olympic, where it was races and what do you call it? A thing where you throw the ball, and different Olympic events. Well, before we got to the Olympic event, everyone had to train. So they asked me if I wanted to train with them, and I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna be here to fix my addiction problems, then I might as well work on that too. So I took advantage, and I started working out with them. We would go to the track, we would run, we would do all kind of exercises. It was almost every single day, and then we were put on a diet, and it was a very odd diet, but either way, the fact that I went from being on the street and eating fast food and drinking soda, just having a horrible eating habit, an unhealthy, a very unhealthy eating habit. So going to a place where all the food is being donated from churches, being donated from like this thing called farm share. So it was farm, like we got a lot of fresh produce. I wouldn't say fresh, but we got a lot of produce. We got a lot of produce. The juices that we drank were fresh juices because we would have pounds and pounds and pounds of melon. So we would drink a ton of melon juice or grape juice, literally squished by the members. Like we would receive a bunch of grapes. We got all these grapes. If we don't eat them, they're gonna rot. What do we do? Let's make juice. So it was a lot of natural food that I was eating, and I was also eating in a schedule. So it was 3 times a day we would eat, and everybody got the same amount. So I got my plate, and that's what I ate for the day, right? So that's basically what happened. We would drink water 7 times a day. We were served water because there were 7 meetings a day. So in every meeting, you got a cup of coffee and you got a cup of water. So I would drink 7 little cups, little a black coffee, no sugar, no, because we didn't. We it was a nonprofit. They can't afford sugar, so we
Right?
wouldn't have sugar. So it'd be black coffee with no sugar. And if well, the times that we did have sugar, it'd be very little sugar, but still black coffee. Imagine me, an American-born Cuban guy who was raised on coffee. Okay, I knew how to make coffee the day I could walk. I love coffee, and we drink our coffee with milk, and we make it a certain way, and it has a froth. And I was raised that way to be now served black coffee, which I've never had in my life. And like, what is this, right? But I'm drinking it, and what I didn't know was that it's a natural diuretic. Yeah, too much caffeine is pretty bad for you, but either way, I'm coming off of drugs, and they're giving me coffee. I'm drinking it, drinking water. I'm flushing my system.
Right?
So one of the main things that helped me lose that weight was the water, the coffee, and the eating habit, the way we ate. The other key ingredient was our schedule was like this. At 6:30 in the morning, you were woken up. If you weren't awake already, you were woken up, and you go right outside to start doing yard work. So you go straight from bed. You have 5-10 minutes to wash your face, brush your teeth, put on some clothes if you need to, and you're outside with a rake, with a bucket, picking up leaves. So I went from being basically, not active whatsoever other than work, which wasn't really work for me. I went from being not active to eating unhealthy and nonstop fast food, and not sleeping right. All this just bad lifestyle. It was a horrible, unhealthy lifestyle that I lived. To all of a sudden being almost forced, you know, if I wanted to, I still had the willingness, but it was a sudden, like, just through 180. Like, you live like this, and all of a sudden, boom, you're doing all this different stuff.
That sounds like a really being such a big change all at once. It sounds like it would be hard.
It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, because beside the fact that I was living a new routine, a new lifestyle that I hated, besides the fact that I had to wake up at 6:30, and I had to go to bed whenever they said it was bedtime, right? And I had to sit in seven meetings, and I had to do this, and I had to do that. Besides all that, um like, because those were the requirements. The requirements was do what they say, you know. So besides doing all that, I was severely addicted to heroin. You don't understand what heroin does.
No, I
Heroin is a
don't.
horrible, horrible drug. It is the devil. The heroin is the devil. I promise you, I never once thought I would ever do it. But literally, from the moment I actually did heroin, because I was hooked on painkillers before, which to me is worse, but still heroin. The fact, like, just the name, like, it's so dirty, like, it's like,
Mhm.
how, right? But once I started doing that, it literally, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing. I don't care who you are. Unless you force yourself to stay off of heroin, it's like, to get off of it is hell. And then even getting off of it is hell, because the withdrawal are like, okay, this is how it works. You have this, you get natural serotonin and dopamine and all that good happy stuff. When you
Right?
get hurt, your body makes chemicals that rush to your brain or whatever, that will make the pain that you feel not feel so bad. It still hurts, but it doesn't feel that bad compared to as if you did not have those chemicals. So when you start bringing in those chemicals from the outside, which is basically opiates, right? When you start bringing those chemicals from the outside, your body says, "Oh man, I'm still praying for my daughter that she both heroin, man. God bless him. I pray for her tonight too. God bless you, Norris. Yeah, but so imagine, and God is amazing. God, 100%, I believe God is amazing.
Yes,
And but the thing is that we have free will, and
that's
that's why
right.
I say willingness, because straight up, if I didn't have the willingness,
Hey,
and the
lobster.
and the willingness is a whole different. What's up, lobster? And the willingness is a whole different story right there. But without willingness, there's no chance. There's no chance.
During that time when your eating habits were, in a sense, forced on you, did you feel, what is the word I'm looking for? Because you went from eating so much to now it's so controlled. Did you feel denied? I mean, did you feel like you weren't getting enough food?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, like, okay, so, and I do want to clarify one thing. It wasn't that I was forced. I wasn't forced. I
Right,
had that,
right,
I was willing to do it. Like, I could have easily walked away, but
right.
the willingness to stop doing drugs is what kept me there. Because one thing is to stop doing drugs, another thing is to start eating healthy, and then another thing is to change the way your sleeping pattern, and another thing is to change your activity. I was literally doing everything at once, so my mind was coming up with excuses as to why everything sucked. All right. So to answer your question, yeah, I felt denied, but that was just my mind telling me you need more food or this isn't enough. Because in reality, if you really look at it, it was enough. I lived through it. I actually became super healthy because of it. Long story short, which I keep saying and keep making the story even longer. But long
It's
story short,
okay.
I went from being 450 to 500 pounds. I started going to the doctor, and every time I went to the doctor would weigh me. And every time they weighed me, that was the only time I got to weigh myself. I would be, oh, you lost 11 pounds since the last time you were here. Oh, you lost 17 pounds since the last time you were here. Oh, you lost 6 pounds since. Every time I went, she kept weighing me and I kept losing weight, and it was weekly. Every single week, I would lose 6, 15, 20 pounds every single week. And within from February, March, so around March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I think it was November. So in 9 months, I was 299 pounds. I went from being 450 pounds, 500 pounds to 299 pounds. I could be wrong. I might be off by a few pounds. But oh, my spiritual health was unbelievable. That place literally actually helped me out with my spirituality. So I was not somebody who, yeah, I had a belief in God, but I didn't have faith in God. And as far as spirituality goes, I didn't even know what that meant. Like I understand, excuse me, I understand spirituality the way I understand it now, which is the way I practice it. Um, but back then I had no concept of spirituality. If you would have asked me 5.5 years ago, what does spirituality mean to you, I would have been like, oh, it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo where people sit around and go, oh, because that's honestly, like, that's probably the most best idea I had of spirituality. I understand spirituality now completely differently. And while I was there, it was a spiritual battle. It was literally me being put into the most uncomfortable place I could be. But at the same time, it was the best place I could be. You understand? So it was
Yes.
super uncomfortable, but it was the best place because if I would have left there, there's a good chance that it would have been worse and more uncomfortable. Yeah, I probably would have gotten high, but would I be alive? Would I be free right now? I could possibly be in prison, or even worse, would I have been in a nut house? I could have gone to, you know, malecombio. How you say that in Spanish in English?
I don't
Malecombio.
know. I don't know that word.
Anyway, the nut house.
Yes.
The nut house. So yeah, I
Insane
could have been there.
asylum.
Insane asylum. There you go. I could have been there, or even worse, I could have been underground. So it was the most uncomfortable place I could be, but it was the best place I could be. So my spirituality definitely improved from the moment I walked in through that door, because as I walked in through that door, and not only through that door, but everything that came right before it, it was all a test, or not a test. It was all proof. It was all proof for me that God existed. It was all of it. Every single step that I took was proof for me that miracles are real, that blessings exist. Before I
Wow.
walked in, before I walked into those doors, I didn't believe in none of that. I would have cussed you out if you said anything about God to me. because I had a belief that there was a God, but I was angry at God because God didn't give me the things I wanted when I wanted them, like a spoiled little brat, you know. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. But either way, I ended up going to Mexico, and a guy that didn't fit in an extra large shirt. I had to get an 8 extra large tall shirt. All of a sudden, I go to Mexico. We're in the stadium. All right, this thing was huge, huge stadium, and everybody has their little jumpsuits on. So they got everybody a matching jumpsuit. The biggest one they had was extra large
Oh
because you could
wow.
Mexico. There's not a lot of big people, so to them extra large is like big and tall. So they're like, "Oh man, you got to go in there, but they're not gonna let you in without a suit." I'm like, "Man, I don't fit in that suit." They're like, "Are you sure? Try it on." I tried it on. I fit inside of an extra large jumpsuit.
Oh wow.
The jacket with the sweatpants or whatever. And we all got to run around the whole stadium and these big balloons. It looked like the real Olympics. It was insane. Um,
Mm.
and so, I stayed with the group. I stayed eating healthy. I would treat myself every once in a while when we would go to church on Sundays or Saturdays. I will go with the guys and we'll stop at a McDonald's, and we all had a budget of like $3 each, and we would get like 2 McChickens and a cup of water and maybe an apple pie. And every once in a while we treated ourselves. At least I treated myself with my friends, and we ate something outside of the group that wasn't made by the group. Um, so that was cool, it was fine. It came to a point where, okay, it's time to go to New York. I wanted to go serve in the group that was in New York, so we'll go to New York. And what is New York known for? Pizza, right? When I get to New York, it so happens that the donations are different. Everything is different over there, and we get a lot of pizza donations in New York. There was a pizza place that made homemade pizza and all that, and they would give us every day. We would go pick up the pizza that they had left over from the day before. So we had stockpiles of pizza every single day. Well, I'm still doing. I'm looking good. I'm talking about. I would tuck my shirt in for church. I wear my tie. I look super good. I was great. I was healthy. I skipped a lot. So before the whole Mexico thing, I would go to the doctors, and the doctor will weigh me and all that stuff, and they had did a blood test. Because they want to check my cholesterol, they want to check my sugar levels, they want to check everything, right? So the lady's like, "Oh," the doctor's like, "In 3 months we'll have results." All right. So in those 3 months is when I started checking my. I will go every week or every other week or something like that. I can't remember too good that, but the timing. But I know I kept going more than once. And at the 3 month mark, it was before going to New York. At the 3 month mark of after getting my blood done, I go to get my results, and I'm afraid. I'm super afraid. I'm afraid because I have no idea what I have not had a blood test, since I started living a crazy life. I have not had my cholesterol check, my blood pressure, this, that, the other, right? I thought I was gonna have diabetes. I thought I was gonna have this. I was gonna have that. They were gonna tell me that my heart is bad. They were gonna tell me something, because one, not only was I super heavy and I was eating unhealthy, but two, I was doing a lot of damage because of the drugs. So I was afraid. Plus, I'm gonna say it, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the promiscuity that I lived, like I was very promiscuous. I was super afraid that I was gonna have the worst results ever. And I showed up to the doctor, and she's like, "Man, you're healthier than a 15-year-old." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I don't know what you did, but when you came here 3 months ago, you did not look like that. And you're doing amazing. You need to keep doing that because your cholesterol is perfect, your blood pressure is perfect, your sugar levels are perfect. You are as healthy as a 15-year-old, if not healthier."
That's
And when she said,
wonderful.
I'm like, "No way, that's awesome." So I kept on. I had, that's the same thing with the faith and the spirituality. Like that just proved, to me that, and at that point I didn't need any more proof, but that still it proved to me, right? So, I just keep going. That all these experiences are reasons as to why I'm still clean and sober today. Why I still choose to be clean and sober, because I could have easily had a beer by now. I could have easily, smoked a joint by now. Easily. No questions asked, no problem. No one would have judged me. I could have easily been that way. The reason I don't is because of the experiences I've lived, and also because I keep remembering my past. I don't live in my past. There's a difference. There's people that
Yes,
live. If they don't live in your past is your past, leave it back there. Yes, I understand that's true. But you have to recognize your past, understand your past, so that you don't repeat it. Because if
I
not, you're
agree.
gonna going back to it. So at least
So,
for me, yeah, that's how it was.
so do you still deal with temptations to overeat, to do the drugs, to drink?
No, not
Okay,
whatsoever. Now this, go ahead.
how did you gain the weight back? I mean, what caused you to gain weight back?
All right, so here we go. So I go to New York. I'm in New York. I'm healthy. Everything's good. I'm nonstop service and work and blah blah blah. And they get me hooked up with insurance. So I had insurance. Before I got to the group, I had a lot of physical issues because of the drugs I did.
Hmm.
Well, the choices I made, and I had a problem with my foot. I got hit by a car one time, flew in the air, foot kind of broke off, but I just kept chasing the car. Um, so I severely damaged my foot and my
Wow.
ankle, and just the way my foot is not normal, right? So okay, we're gonna get that fit. Don't worry, you're in New York, the best place in the world for insurance. They're gonna cover all that. You're gonna get surgery. You're great, no problem. I also had two shoulders that at least my right shoulder, I would dislocate my shoulder 20 times a day, and that's
Oh
honestly,
man.
yeah, I'm under exaggerating. Like I'm just saying, on average, 20 times a day. I would have to. It literally became a cripple of mine where I would have to be conscious as to how I move my arm because it would just pop out and it would hurt. It sucked.
Wow.
It sucked. At first, I couldn't put it back in, which that's how I became introduced to pain medicine. Was because of my shoulder, and I got the shoulder problem from an overdose that I had on this wild time that I lived. I had an overdose, and I woke up with two shoulders dislocated. Luckily, blessed to have been woken up, because I probably shouldn't have waken up from that. So I had this problem with the shoulder. I had a problem with the foot. I'm in New York. I got insurance. They sent me to the doctor. I get hooked up with a surgeon. My surgeon, one surgeon for the shoulder and one surgeon for the foot. Cool, no problem, no beef, right? Um, I go into surgery and I don't take any. Even through surgery, I didn't take any pain medicine, no narcotics whatsoever.
Were you
But
afraid to?
I wasn't afraid to. It was just a conscious decision because I knew that it's a possibility
That's
that,
what I was asking. Were you afraid that you would get addicted again?
yeah,
That's
I
what I
wasn't
meant.
afraid. Yeah, I wasn't afraid though. I wasn't afraid. I was just I was made to believe, at least I choose to believe, that it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope,
I
and
agree.
also I would have had to start my time over. And the pride part of me didn't want to start the time over because I used painkillers, so whatever, yeah. But it wasn't afraid. It was more like I choose not to do drugs. Like I'm gonna go through this surgery, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna show everybody that it's possible. It was like I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show you that it's possible. I'm gonna show you that it's a lie. You do not need pain medicine. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm gonna tell you the truth. It was the worst feeling in the world. Like it
I
hurt.
bet.
It hurt. Like imagine waking up, right? Because they put you under. they put you under, right? Like they put you to sleep,
Mhm.
and you wake up. Well, when you wake up and your foot just literally got chopped off and reattached with some screws,
Oh
like
wow.
yeah, it's. I'm sorry for the graphic, folks. If you are listening and you're getting grossed out, I'm sorry. This is just the facts, okay?
I
Maybe I
got
should give you a warning.
oops. I got pins and I got screws and a plate in there
Yeah,
because I shattered it.
I got. Well, this one, they all they did was just poke some holes, and they went in with like some. I didn't see it, but from what I remember, he said like a camera, and then they snipped the tendons. They tightened
Oh
my.
yeah.
This one was different because this one was just all muscles and stuff. Like they just tightened my joint in because there was nothing we could do. I had dislocated it so much. I literally had no, the joint. I
Uh
don't
huh.
have a I don't have a joint.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and then also the cuff, whatever holds that in is also eaten up completely. So there's nothing they could have done as far as like fixing the bone. So what they did was tighten up my shoulder. So ever since then I could do all kind of crazy stuff and nothing happens. But I am limited to see. See?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had basically two surgeries back to back. First, they fixed my shoulder. They fixed my shoulder, and I had to heal from that before they fixed my foot. So it was the shoulder, and I believe it was 6 months later, 5, 6 months later, they did the foot. So for about a year, I basically did turn back to eating to kind of cover up the pain because my friends started bringing me like pastries and brownies and my favorite thing in the world, pizza. They're like, here, have pizza, eat this and read that. What'd she say? What'd she say?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
listening. Another awesome interview. I'm encouraged by this. I want to be off my pain medicine. Praying today, I have no pain, no medicine needed. First day without anything. May God bless you. I I'm praying for you. I pray for you. I hope that you get over that and you're able to deal with it. It's possible.
I
I'm telling you, it's possible. I went through two major surgeries. I say a major because I never had surgery. I went through them. No pain medicine. Well, so I took what do you call it? I was about to say hydrocodone. I took ibuprofen. I took ibuprofen, but even that was like once in a while I did it to see what would happen, but it was like it still hurt. It didn't do anything to me, like for me, not to me, but for me. So it was like I'm not gonna take this stuff because it's just gonna mess up my liver and it's not helping me.
right.
Like it's not taking no pain away. So I went through two surgeries, and in that whole year, pretty much, I was overeating again. I had more responsibilities in the group, so I was allowed to eat what I wanted. I was getting paid a stipend or siphon, whatever you call that. So I would get my $100 a week, and I would, buy myself a honey bun. And I started little by little just eating unhealthy, making unhealthy choices more often, and then it became a habit because everybody else that served with me, we have to have that bacon, egg, and cheese that the guy at the bodega on the corner makes every single. Oh, you gonna go get bacon, egg, and cheese? Get me two bacon, egg, and cheeses. They're only $2. Get me two of them. You know. So I just started going back towards that eating style of like, everybody else has to eat the same thing, but I'm not gonna eat that. I'm gonna order from the pizza place, or I'm gonna order from here. I'm gonna do that. And so I started gaining a little bit of weight, but it wasn't nothing bad. It wasn't nothing bad. It wasn't like I gained 50 pounds. I might have gained like close to 40, 50 pounds, but it wasn't like I gained it all back. Like I still was, in decent shape. I didn't look too overly like, whatever it is. But when I left New York and I went back to, I was told, you're gonna go work for your father. You're gonna do this. You're gonna move with the guys over there. You're gonna save money, get your own place, get your own car. So when I was given the opportunity basically to get my independence back. You know, I and I started working for my father again. I would wake up in the morning, right,
Mhm.
and I would leave the place early so I can go get myself breakfast. And then I was on to work at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I had to be already driving towards work, but I'm out and I'm getting money, and I don't have lunch with me. I don't bring lunch with me. No one makes me lunch. I had to buy lunch outside, and it was really easy for me to fall back into eating out every day, every meal. So it was
Yes.
breakfast and sometimes dinner, but it was definitely at least two times a day that I would eat out, you know. And after about 3 months of living, because I lived inside the group while I worked, they gave me the opportunity to save money to get my own car and stuff like that. I was able to get the car. I found the place and I go to move out. And I already have that habit inside of me. I find a place that doesn't even have a kitchen. So I'm eating out every single day. And it was as simple as that. It was just the simple fact that I was eating out, and because I was just as active, except for that 1 year where I was basically I couldn't walk really. I was on crutches when I could, and, my shoulder. But I mean, when I was back to work, I was basically active again. I'm here working, and I'm working in the sun, and I'm sweating and all that. But it was the way I ate, and I just started eating unhealthy again. And next thing you know, I gained all this weight back, and I'm like, how did this happen? And this is how it happened. It was just as simple as that. I let that habit just take over. You know.
So, what made you decide to lose weight this time?
Well, because I did a self inventory. I looked at my recent past, right? I looked at my recent past. I kind of looked at kind of like what we talked about, what I've talked about so far. And I
Hmm.
pinpointed some things. And once I did that, I was able to accept that I've made some errors, right? And since I've been able to accept I've made some errors, I've been able to say, okay, I don't want to make those errors again. So what do I do? And I basically just told myself I need to save my life. I need to save my life because one, I feel super bad. Like when before I started trying to lose weight again, or not even trying to lose weight, before I started making conscious decisions to eat healthier, I was literally feeling like crap. I would be hurting all the time. I would be very moody. Like there'll be times where I'll just be frustrated for no reason, no apparent reason. I'm just frustrated. The simplest thing would frustrate me, and then I would have to like woosah, like, and it would be a disturbance in my day. Like, why am I getting frustrated over this little thing? Like I'm not supposed to be getting frustrated, and it was because I was in constant pain. I wasn't sleeping good, and just the food, the food that I chose to start eating in these times, it was just it was delicious and stuff, but I realized that I was choosing to eat that versus other things because I really like that. It wasn't because I wasn't eating to to live. I was in a way like living to eat, right?
I
Like,
was just going to say that.
yeah, I realized that I was not eating so that I can live. I was eating because, I'm hungry. It's just because I'm simply hungry, and it doesn't matter if I ate 2 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 10 hours ago. And it wasn't even that I ate a lot throughout the day. There'll be days where I wouldn't eat for 12 hours, but that doesn't
Wow.
matter. That doesn't matter because it's what I ate when I ate it that
Yeah.
got me to where I was. So I was like, I need to be more conscious about what I eat. If I'm hungry, first I gotta find out if it's hunger or if it's thirst. Like right now, I'm thirsty. I'm super thirsty right now, and I left my
You can
bottle of
drink
water.
water. It's
No,
okay.
I get it a little bit, but am I thirsty or is it hunger? Because I know a few things about losing weight because I've done it before and I've had the
Right.
opportunity to learn about it. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos too, and I have a lot of information and I have some practice in losing weight. So I know my stuff to a certain degree. There's still a lot of stuff to learn, so I'm always like learning. But I know that the first sign of thirst is actually the sensation of hunger. So when you feel hungry, drink some water first. Make sure it's not that you're thirsty, because it could just simply be that you're thirsty. Once you feel thirsty, you're basically dehydrated and you need to like really hydrate yourself. Drink some Gatorade, drink some water. It's gonna take some time, but you'll get hydrated, you know? But
Calico Dawn has a question for you. She asked, "Did you fast? Does this help or hinder your progress?"
for me, it severely helped. I know that fasting isn't for everybody. Not just because it takes a lot of discipline, but also some people, they might not be able to do it depending on their health already. So you kind of want to check, if you don't already know how your health is, which I don't think anybody should self-diagnose themselves in any way. But you should definitely check yourself if you're not too sure if fasting is good for you or not, or if it's going to help. So some people, fasting could probably hurt them, unless they get their health in order first. For me,
Right.
I've been fortunate. I haven't dealt with any sort of health issue that hinders me from fasting, and I've definitely benefited from it. I feel a lot more energy. I'm not as hungry throughout the day. I don't get those hunger attacks, right? Um, and when back then, one of the main things that I did, that was part of my routine for losing weight when I lost weight in the group, was definitely fasting. Sometimes I would go until 4 o'clock without eating a single thing but some water, and I didn't realize I was fasting. I thought they were punishing me. To be honest, I was like, these people are punishing me, and they're not feeding me until 4 o'clock. Well, no, I never said I was hungry, so it's not their fault. It's my fault for not saying, "Hey, bro, I'm hungry. Can we eat something?" You know, because we always did. Whenever I said I'm hungry, I would get fed. So, but what I realized was that I fasted a lot. It wasn't a conscious thing, but on in hindsight, like looking back, I definitely fasted a whole lot when I was doing it.
She also says, "What exercise do you recommend to someone just starting to get active?"
Well, that also, to me, my opinion is that also depends on the person as well and their health
Mhm.
condition. Some people might not even be able to walk, but if you could walk, walking is number one, the best thing that you could do. If you're able to walk, that's the best thing you can do, because you're not putting a lot of strain on yourself. You can push yourself as fast as you want, as slow as you want. You can go as long as you want, but as long as you're taking one step forward, that is one step you're taking that you didn't take before.
Or
So
you
to
can even do it in the pool like I do.
the pool, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. The pool is great.
Haven't you
The pool is
watched any of
awesome.
my videos, Alex?
I need to watch. I haven't watched anybody's videos. I haven't watched anybody's videos. Like, I do the Saturday night thing with Oscar and Jordan. Whenever Jordan's not, putting up electric fence to keep out, prairie dogs and stuff. I do the Saturday show, but honestly, like every once in a while, I jump on YouTube, see who's live, I say what's up, and it's back to work. But yeah, I missed out. I gotta check out some videos, and that's what I'm working on. I'm working on having more time to be able to be more part of the community again. So
Calico says, "When I'm hungry and lacking nutrition, I am very irritable." That's got to be another word for hungry.
yeah, hangry. Yeah,
Hangry. Angry.
yeah. This is the one thing I definitely, from my experience, is like, if you go without food, if you're hungry, you should eat. Like, if it's not just that you're thirsty, if you're hungry, if you actually,
You should eat, yeah.
you should eat something. I don't think that fasting is for everybody. I also don't think that it's the only thing that can help. I think fasting is great, and I think it's used. It's best used in certain situations. For the most part, you want to eat as much as you're able to eat. Don't leave yourself stuck hungry, because that's like the worst thing. Like, who wants to? I mean, that makes it hard to do. Like, you want to lose weight, you want to get healthy, but all these people are telling you you can only eat this much. Like, no, like, eat the right foods, and you can eat
Yes.
what you want. You know.
I I used to count calories, and it became obsession with me. I was always thinking about food because I always had to say, okay, I can have so many calories now, so many calories at the next meal. And I was constantly thinking about food because I knew I had to count my calories. And this time around, I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to do what you said and eat healthy. And when I start to feel full, stop eating. And that's that, and when we get something in front of us that tastes very good, we want to keep eating. Oh, oh, this is so good, but we can get it again. It's like at Thanksgiving, people eat so much, but Thanksgiving will happen again. Unless, of course, you go to heaven, or you die and go to heaven, but you're going to get Thanksgiving again. So it's not like you got
Or
to
you,
pack your body.
or you can cook it again another day. It doesn't have to be Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. I,
yeah.
I have some more questions for you. What are you doing to lose weight now?
Right now, I'm not putting any pressure on myself. That's key. Number one key is don't put any pressure on myself by giving myself a certain, like, I need to do this, or I need to do that, like, or I need to listen to what this person says and to what this person says, because if I don't do what they're saying, then I'm not doing it right. Like, no, I learned that, at least with me, it takes me a little bit of time to actually form a habit. And if there's something working against me, which I tend to work against myself, right? If there's something working against me, then I need to cut that out somehow. And what's working against me, is myself a lot. So when I say don't put any pressure, I mean, I just right now I'm just being conscious with what I eat. Have I eaten a hamburger or two in the past month? Yeah, I've eaten a
Yeah,
couple of hamburgers. I'm eating some good hamburgers. Matter of fact, it was like two night. It was Sunday. Sunday night, I went. I bought some burgers and made some burgers for the family. We ate good. It was great, right? Have I eaten a pizza here and there? Yeah, sure, I've eaten a pizza here and there. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. Like, I'm not gonna
right,
say, "Oh, you just had 2,000 calories in one sitting." Like, okay, that happened, but I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm not gonna put
right.
that pressure on myself.
That's
But
good.
I am eating a lot. Like, I'm being more conscious with what I eat. So when I actually, like, I just literally just broke my fast at 3 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, I broke my fast. I sat down. I had a little bowl of oatmeal with some, just a little bit of honey on it, right, and some cinnamon. Um, uh, and then, and that was just like my little breaking my fast, because I had to set up for this. I also had a couple other things I had to do. So I know with me, what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure I eat about 3,000 calories in a day, because that's below my TTY. I forget what it's called, but it's the thing that when you don't move, you burn this many calories.
Yeah,
Well, that thing. So I'm trying to eat around 3,000 to 3,100 calories a day. Not trying to count them. I just know more or less, which some people will be like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that because you don't really know," and that's true. But that's part of it. I don't care. I don't
right,
care if I'm 100 calories over or 100 calories under. I know that I'm active, and based off of my 3,000 calories, if I'm not active, I would have burned 400 or 500 calories, something like that. So if I'm active throughout the day, who cares if I'm off by a couple hundred calories, right? So as long as I'm eating the spinach, and I'm eating, the lean ground beef and the tuna and things like that, then, and I could read, okay, this thing says 200 calories. Well, I'm good with 200 calories. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So it's not about really counting. and putting that pressure on myself. It's more about just being more conscious. Instead of going to McDonald's or Burger King or ordering a pizza every single day, two, three times a day, drinking soda nonstop, making poor choices with snacks, even, you know what I'm saying? Instead of doing all
Mhm.
that madness, I just okay. I want to eat something sweet, so I'm gonna eat an apple. You know what I'm saying? And it's like simple as that. And I don't even think about it. So I've just been eating healthier. Because to me, yeah, the outside is one thing. Like, yeah, sure, I would love to be 16 again, and you know, full of muscles and just like
Wouldn't
the
we all?
a hot guy in school, but I'm not 16. I'm not in school. This is not going to happen. I'm not worried about that. To me, it's more important what's on inside. And I've been sleeping better, so it's been working. I've been more energy. I've had more energy, so it's been working. I've been less irritable, even with the more stress that I've had. I've had more stress, and I've been less irritable. So that's proof right there that just my conscious decisions is working. So
Kelly said, "Thank you for answering her questions."
you're welcome. Thank you.
Um, I have to ask, do you find losing weight hard? And if so, why?
Um, no. Yes and no. So yes, because I've been there where I know the struggle. I know what it's like when you're trying to lose weight, when that's like your goal, right? When you're focused, and in other words, you're keeping track of it, and you have numbers, and you know how much you weighed yesterday and how much you weigh today. It could be hard because more than anything, it's mental, and it's very it could be very heavy on the mind. When you're trying to do something and you haven't got there yet. What makes it not what makes it not hard is the part where you're enjoying what you're doing. It's more like you're you're not so focused on the I need to lose 100 pounds. You're more focused on I need to eat this salad right now. You know what I'm saying? And I like blue cheese, so I'm gonna enjoy this salad. And blue cheese ain't bad because it's the best dressing you can have that has the least carbs because it's almost no carbs in blue cheese, and it tastes good. And you can put cheddar cheese and blue cheese, and that's more cheese. That's good fats right there. And you got the spinach, and then you put a little bit of tuna on there, or you can get an avocado. That's good fats right there. You cut the avocado and have you take out the little pit right there, make yourself a little tuna. Put a little tuna inside that little pit right there. You got yourself a little tuna avocado sandwich. Oh man, how do you not enjoy that?
Calico says, or Kelly, fall down, get up. That's what we teach a child as they learn to walk. We don't beat them up because they fall, so we need to stop hurting ourselves. Yes, we do. I don't know if you as a man do that, but I know almost every woman I've ever talked to who's worked to lose their weight, when we fall down, we beat ourselves up because of it. Do you do
Yeah.
that?
Um. I mean, I do get that initial impulse sometimes of like wanting to be frustrated with myself, right? But when that happens, I recognize what it is right away. At least for me, and for me, no, I don't beat myself up because um, I'm not focused on the falling part. I'm more like I don't have the time to beat myself up if I'm trying to lift myself up. But I can understand it because I have been there, where like you lose or you don't win something or you don't achieve something you set out for, and there's no turning back at that point, and you could beat yourself up. Um but it's all about perspective, really. Um and ultimately I think that there's a lack of love that we have for ourselves, that allows us to beat ourselves up. Like, how are you gonna beat something you love, right? Like, you will not beat something you truly love. And And when you can when you can find the humility to really realize how little you love yourself, and you can try to find love for yourself, like it's not about looking at all the negative or the bad things that we have because we're full of them. We're human. It's what makes us human. One of the things that makes us human is our imperfection. We're not perfect people. We're not perfect creatures. We're super imperfect. And that's what makes us beautiful. So instead of looking at it as just imperfect, look at it as beautiful. The fact that you fell is great because now you have a place to climb up from. Now you have something to build you stronger. So you love yourself. You tell yourself you are beautiful because you're imperfect. You failed, but you tried. So
Yeah.
why beat yourself up because you failed? Instead, lift yourself up because you tried and you're still trying. If you beat yourself enough, you're not gonna get up. So that, if anything, is the part that concerns me is that us as humans, we don't we I don't know about anybody else, but when I went through what I went through, it made me realize how I was so unconscious of myself. I didn't know myself. I didn't. I If you would have asked me, I would have told you I did. But the reality is, I didn't, and I didn't love myself. There was a lot of things about myself that I just didn't know. And if you could take the time, if we can take the time to really get to know ourselves, you can find not only the negative, which is in our face all the time. It's so easy to focus on because for some reason we lean towards it. For some reason, it's like we want to better it, but instead of bettering it, we just feed it. We just say, "Yeah, this is
Mhm.
because of this." You know, no, you
Have,
can better that.
have you found your relationship with God helping you to in your battle with that, in not focusing on the negative, but like you said, getting on the ladder, climbing up again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the relationship I have with God isn't even a question anymore, right? It's more like it is our relationship. You know, it's the relationship I have with Him, and it really is now. The relationship I have with God is something that I know. It's like it's something I don't even. It's almost unconscious, but I'm conscious of it, right?
Right.
It's because it's become faith. You understand?
Hmm.
To me, there's a difference between belief and faith. You know, to me, believing in something is simply that, is just believing in it. To me, faith is the actual physical or act part of it, like the action part of believing. So you can believe in God, but do you have faith in God? And some people will say that it's the same thing, which I wouldn't argue with those people because I believe that your beliefs, if you believe them, they're true to you. So I don't think that anyone's wrong. But my understanding of it, that faith is action. Um, I think it even says it in the Bible somewhere where um, faith is nothing without work or something like that. So the faith I have in God is definitely what helps me through it. You know, um,
Hmm.
because it's what gives me my actions, my attitudes, the way I think, the way I act, the way I talk, the way I feel. You know, everything.
Calico says the biggest change she's making is the word she used to describe herself, from fat to fit, using encouragement daily, seeing myself fit. By faith, it brings it to pass. And she has kept 50 pounds off. Congratulations, Kelly.
Congratulations, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I know as a woman, we have a tendency, um, well, at least for me, and I know other women who do it too, at least when I'm having a bad day, I will say, "Oh, you're so fat. Oh, look, you overate today and you shouldn't have." And, do you do that? Do you sometimes beat yourself up like that and say things that you shouldn't say to yourself?
I would lie if I said I don't. I don't think in that way though. Yeah, I mean, I do like mentally, I have those times where the negative part just starts pointing things out. Um, the thing is that again, it's like I've been very fortunate to have gone through the things I've gone through that led me to that recovery group, which pretty much instilled in me. It was a self help group, so I through my willingness, I was able to help myself understand myself, and I really like. It's hard to. It's like I can explain it, but unless like you have to see it to understand it really, because I did so much self work, and not just like reading work, right? Like it's one thing to read something; it's another thing to do something. The difference between the smart man and the wise man. It was like I went to boot camp for lifestyle change, right? And mental change and spiritual change. Like I went to this boot camp where it was 24/7 constant self improvement, and understanding things. So and understanding yourself. That was like key. Number one thing that I was able to understand myself. So when those things happen, which is natural, right? It's natural to have something good bad come out at you. Like you stub your toe and you call yourself stupid. Like, man, I'm so stupid. I knew that desk was there, right? But right there, it's almost like I forgive myself for acting that way. I'm able to say, it's all right, man. Like it's a mistake. Like it happens, right?
Right?
So yeah, I don't know if I explained if I answered your question at all, because sometimes I go, I think a lot, and yeah,
So you, in a sense, were retraining yourself to, instead of saying bad things to yourself, uh, not making excuses for what you said, but learning to say good things to yourself, or saying, "Oh, it's okay. That happens. Like I stubbed my toe. Big deal. That happens."
yeah. Like the reason I use the stub my toe part too is now I'm remembering, and not it was a couple days ago. It was not that long ago. I can't remember what day it was, but it really wasn't that long ago. I hit my toe, and the what came out of my mouth was ah, right. It was like a ah, right. But I look at the door jam and I'm like, silly door. Like I took it almost as it was nothing. But before I would have beat myself up over it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been like, bro, how you gonna walk into it? Like I would have literally yelled at myself. But it was like, it happened. It happened. I'm alive. Everything's okay. Let's keep going. I gotta get to the kitchen. I'm thirsty. It is what it is. When it comes to the word fat, like if you see, my name is Fatman the Flipper. To me, it's all about perspective again, right? The word fat isn't a bad word at all. It's not a negative word. As a matter of fact, I can go on the news live right now and say the word fat, and they're not gonna censor me because it's not a bad word. It's how you perceive it, and a lot of times it's become a bad word to some of us because of how it was used in our lives. So we attach the negativity to it from our experiences. And for the most part, kids are bullies, people are jerks, and people that are overweight are gonna be treated, differently, and that happens. That's happened. I've seen it happen. I've had it happen to me. So for the most part, yeah, I understand how the word fat could be like a negative, word that kind of like it upsets you, right?
Hmm.
Um, I use it because I'm empowering myself by using it, and I understand it also. Like I understand that fat is simply a medical term that defines a certain type of body, right? Because if you really look at it, there's like a regular body, and then there's overweight, and then it's fat. I think it's overweight, fat, obese, and morbidly obese, right? So if anything, I just call myself the skinnier version of some of them. So hey, you can't say nothing to me. But at the end of the day, it's just a medical term. So I use the word because it's like, one, you can't call me that now. I call myself that. So you can go on with your skinny stuff and go eat yourself a salad somewhere. All right. I don't care. You can't call me that. Like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm letting you know my feelings ain't gonna get hurt. I'm Fat Man the Flipper. Right. And the
I
other thing, uh huh.
I was just going to ask you, as women, we are often judged by our weight by other women and by men. Do you, as a man, get that also by women and men, especially by other men? Do you get judged because of your weight?
I mean, I have, right? I have. There has been times in my life. I can't pinpoint one right now.
But
Like there
I
very.
mean now at your age and at your weight, do you get judged by other men?
I don't surround myself with people.
Negative people are bad for us anyway, right?
Well, it's not that they're bad for it. It's just I don't. I'm constantly working. When I go out, I honestly, this is the crazy thing. Like, I go out, and if you would have asked me this 6 years ago, and I would have had the courage and the humility to be honest with you, I would have told you that when I go out, I'm conscious of everyone around me, and in my mind, there's things happening that aren't really there, in the sense that I think they're all judging me, whether they are or not. I felt so insecure that I
Mm-hmm.
felt like the world was judging me. So I was very ashamed of going out because of how big I was, right? And
Uh,
that also was a part as to why I would eat alone a lot and things like that. Was purely insecurity. I'm not cocky, right? Or even confident so much. It's more like I'm secure of myself. I know who I am. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm overweight. There's nothing that they can say or do to me that's gonna bother me. As far as someone else judging me, I'm pretty sure that there are people that have crossed paths with that do judge me. I'm 100% sure of it. Have I heard it? No, not even in my mind, which that's the good part, because I don't
yeah,
even hear it in my mind. It's like I don't care. It's like I was able to love myself enough and understand myself and be conscious of myself and accept myself. And by accepting, not just being comfortable with myself, like, in other words, I'm content with my life and the way I am physically, mentally, and spiritually,
yeah.
or like I'm just happy that I'm me and I'm good. Like, there's nothing that anyone can bother me with. Um, like, I don't care.
I
So
totally understand. My spine is three quarters fused, and any opportunity I have, I bring it up, and I literally lift my shirt and turn around and show them my spine and say, yeah, I'm disabled. And it comes up for different reasons. I can be at a yard sale, and like we drove up in the driveway, and my husband say, I'm sorry we drove up in the driveway, but we're both disabled. And I'll turn around and I lift up my shirt and I show him, yeah, my spine is three quarters fused. And if it brings on a conversation, so be it. I'll tell them about my website. And sometimes, I mean, if you watch my videos, you will see I am in a bikini top and in a pair of shorts and leggings, and you can see my scar, and I don't care. It's part of me, but it doesn't define me. You know,
exactly, that's the one.
and if you had told me a year ago that I would get on camera in the pool to let the whole world see my body weight, I would have been like, you are out of your mind. And it's just recently that I have actually put it on my high school Facebook group for everybody to see. Because I was like, I'm not letting them see how I look now. But I didn't get here out of my own choice. I got here because I'm disabled. I don't sit
Yeah,
around and eat bonbons all day. You know, I yes, I've made some bad choices, but I'm also disabled, and it's hard.
Yeah.
But we go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, I think that I think you got the right attitude with it. You know, it is what it is. And the thing is that there's people. I'll tell you a quick story, if I may. May I tell you a quick story? I
Yes.
might have told the story before, and I always get it wrong, but people understand the concept. So there's this family, and they own a donkey, and they you know every day they got to go from the house to the market to get their stuff or whatever. The wife is pregnant, right? And the husband, puts the wife on the donkey every day to go to the market. Well, they're going to the market, and it's the husband, the pregnant wife, and their little 4-year-old kid, and they're walking. And as they walk, the husband overhears somebody whispering, "Oh man, look at that guy! He's making he's making the kid walk. You know, he should put the kid on the donkey. That's messed up." So on the way back from the market, he puts the kid on the donkey. He gets the wife off of the donkey, and they're walking, and he overhears someone else whispering to someone else, "Look at that guy. That's messed up. He put the kid on there, and he took the wife off, and she's pregnant. That's messed up." So the next day comes, and the husband's like, "You know what? Forget these people. I'm gonna go on top of the horse with my wife, and my kid is gonna walk, or the whole donkey." So walking, and the husband hears someone saying, "Look at that guy, so messed up. Who does he think he is? He's on top of the donkey. Him and his wife, they're making the kid walk. That's messed up." No matter what you do, someone's always gonna be out
Oh
there judging,
yes,
and those
so
people
true.
more often than not have not been able to even look at themselves, and they don't want to
Amen.
hear the truth that they have for themselves. So
So very true.
just know that what you do, just do what you feel is right. Do your thing. um, don't stray from being yourself. Love yourself. Love your people that surround you, that love you back, and give extra love to those who judge you, those who criticize you, those who don't love you back. Love them more. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you can.
Well, we've been on for over an hour and a half. So I want to wind this up so people don't go say, "Oh my gosh, it's so long. I don't want to watch the whole thing." But I do have a book whose title I cannot remember at this moment, but I am going to put it in the comments as soon as we get off here. And it is very helpful for the mind think game we play, and other things that we do to ourselves that what do you call it? Keep us from achieving the goals we want to achieve. So anybody who wants to check it out, I'm going to put it in the comments, and you can read it or not read it. It's up to you. But I had it recommended to me, and I find it to be very helpful. So
Awesome.
okay, I love you guys. I hope this interview, I know for Kelly, it has been very helpful, and I hope the rest of you have found it to be very helpful. And I thank you so much, Alex, for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I wasn't expecting to tell you my life story.
Well, I'm so glad you did because it explained. I mean, you answered a lot of questions that I had just by telling your life story. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, and anytime. That's why I'm here on this earth, to tell my
Okay.
story.
Okay. I will see you guys later. Bye, all.
Later.